History is absolutely packed with heroes, but some of the most incredible stories, well, they belong to people we've almost completely forgotten. Today, we're going to talk about one of them, a woman whose life story sounds more like an epic movie than reality. It's a story of courage that was almost lost to time. So let me just start by asking you a question. Who do you think is the most decorated female combatant in the entire history of war? It's probably not a name you've heard before, but trust me, after this, you are not going to forget it. Her name is Milunka Savić. She was a Serbian war hero who fought in the Balkan Wars and World War I. Get this, she was wounded in battle 9 different times. And she was given medals for bravery by 4 different countries: Serbia, France, Russia, and Great Britain. Her story is, without a doubt, one of the most remarkable in military history. So how in the world does someone become the most decorated female soldier in history? Well, her journey isn't just about winning battles. It's a story about unbelievable courage, sacrifice, and a kind of defiance that honestly would define her entire life. And believe it or not, it all started with her brother. Her whole journey begins with this single act of family loyalty that would completely change everything. Okay, so picture this. It's 1912. The First Balkan War is kicking off, and draft papers show up at her family's door for Milunka's brother. The only problem, he was really sick, too ill to fight. The family was in a bind, and Milunka, well, she saw only one way out. She made a choice that was, for the time, unthinkable. It was 3 simple steps that changed her destiny. She chopped off her hair, put on men's clothes, and just like that, she enlisted in the Serbian Army, taking her brother's place. And with that, she was on the front lines, beginning one of the most amazing deceptions in the history of warfare. Of course, a secret like that can't last forever. And the moment it all came out led to one of the most powerful, defiant moments of her life, summed up in just 2 words. Turns out, she was an incredible soldier. So good, in fact, that she got promoted to corporal. But then, during a battle, she was wounded. And in the hospital, as the doctors were treating her, they discovered something that blew their minds. Their decorated corporal was a woman. So you can imagine this created a huge problem for her commanders. I mean, they didn't want to punish her. She was a hero. But a woman in combat was just not done. So they offered her what they thought was a pretty reasonable solution: a transfer to the nursing division. Somewhere safe, away from all the fighting. Milunka just stood there at attention and said no. She insisted the only thing she wanted was to fight for her country as a soldier. Her officer, totally caught off guard, said he'd think about it and tell her his decision the next day. Her response was simple, firm, and totally unwavering. She just said, "I will wait." And wait she did. She stood at attention in his office for an entire hour before he finally gave in. I mean, her sheer determination was just impossible to ignore. He agreed to her demand and sent her right back to the infantry. So, with the secret out and her place on the front line secure, Milunka Savić went on to build a legacy so amazing that her allies gave her a pretty legendary nickname. If you want to get a sense of just how skilled she was, listen to this. In 1916, during a major battle, she single-handedly captured 23 Bulgarian soldiers. Let that sink in. One soldier capturing an entire enemy platoon all by herself. For incredible acts of bravery like that, the medals just started pouring in. She got Serbia's highest military award, the Order of the Star of Karađorđe, not once, but twice. France gave her their highest honor, the Legion of Honor, also twice, plus the Croix de Guerre. Oh, and Russia and Britain? Yeah, they gave her their highest military honors too. Her bravery became so famous among the Allied forces that the French soldiers who fought with her came up with the perfect nickname: the Serbian Joan of Arc. They were directly comparing her to one of the most famous female warriors in all of history. But what happens when the fighting stops and the war is over? For Milunka Savić, the peace that came after was, in a lot of ways, a much harder battle than anything she ever faced on the front lines. It's like her life was split into 2 completely different stories. During the war, she was the celebrated international hero. But as soon as peace came, she was just another person, mostly forgotten, and struggling to make ends meet in the very country she'd fought so hard for. France actually offered her a comfortable retirement pension, but she turned it down. She wanted to live in Belgrade. And there, this incredible war hero ended up working as a postal worker and later as a cleaning lady. And all the while, she was raising 4 children, 1 of her own and 3 she adopted, basically in poverty.
For decades, it seemed like her story was just gone. But heroes like Milunka Savić, well, their stories can't stay buried forever. Eventually, her legacy was rediscovered and finally given the honor it always deserved.
It really started in the late 1950s. She would show up to these military celebrations wearing all her medals, and when other officers heard her story, it started a new wave of interest. By 1972, there was enough public pressure that the city gave her a small apartment. And more recently, her legacy's been cemented with memorials and even a heavy metal song by the band Sabaton, which tells her story to a whole new generation.
Today, statues like this one stand in her honor, making sure that the Serbian Joan of Arc, the woman who went to war for her brother and became the most decorated female soldier in history, is never, ever forgotten again.
The fact that it took decades for her amazing story to really come to light, it just makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many other incredible heroes with stories just as powerful as hers are still out there, just hidden in plain sight?